Hey writers, today I want to talk a little bit about self-doubt. So put up your hand if you have ever lost joy in writing. I certainly have. And that happened around the time that I started thinking about publishing my novels. All of a sudden, I realized that there was so much more to being a published author. There were so many hurdles to overcome. And all those doubts crept in. I started to feel overwhelmed, and suddenly writing just didn't feel as fun anymore. So here's what we're going to do. We waste so much time worrying instead of writing. So today we're going to grab a piece of paper, a journal, and a pen, and we're going to dump all those worries down onto the page and then turn them into our worry-free mantras. So let's get started with a little mindset work. So first, what I want you to do is just brain dump all of those writerly worries onto a page. Here are some of the worries that I wrote down. I worry about having perfect prose. I worry about if it's interesting. I worry about word count. I worry about not finding readers. I worry about how long it takes, and I worry about getting published. Let's share some of our worries in the comments below, and that way we can see that our writing journeys aren't always that different from each other. So now that we have our list of worries, I want you to review that list and circle 2 to 3 of your biggest worries. For me, that is going to be worrying about perfect prose, worrying about how long it takes, and worrying about getting published, that big one. Yeah, I'm going to circle those 3, and we're going to work with those to do a little bit of a mindset shift. So for each of those 3 you've circled, I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. What is the worst that could happen? What is something else that could happen? And what could the best outcome be? Go ahead and journal those if you'd like. So now that we've answered those 3 questions, we're going to do a little bit more mindset work. I want to look at each worry from a more positive, abundance, or solution-oriented mindset. And so I'm looking for evidence that I am already, in fact, on my way to improving the skill I'm worried about. Or I'm looking for evidence to prove that worry wrong, because sometimes it's just our self-doubts taking over. So for example, with I won't worry about perfect prose, well, I have been writing for years, and by the fact that I write consistently tells me that my writing craft is improving. I could go ahead and read some work from 10 years ago and absolutely show proof that yes, this worry, maybe not as big of a worry as I thought. And now that I've reflected on those 3 worries, I'm going to start rewriting those worries. So I'm going to choose, I won't worry about finding readers. And I'm writing this in a way that kind of delves into those solutions, kind of thinks of different pathways to take away that fear that I'm having. So I'm going to start by writing, I won't worry about finding readers. And I'm going to say something like, I am my book's first reader. My friends and family are its second. And I can take so many pathways to share my work with readers in the world. It doesn't need to be published. I can share it on my blog. I'm not trying to impress every reader out there. I'm just seeking connection with the right readers. So go ahead and rewrite those worries for yourself. Share them in the comments if you like. I'm sure you'll find that a lot of us have the same worries from time to time. And once you've done that, keep them somewhere that you can look back on when those self-doubts start creeping in. These are your worry-free mantras. I want you to use them as a reminder when you start to spiral that in fact, your craft is always improving. The more you write, the more you grow as a writer. You now have a plan. You know the worst that could happen. You know an alternative path. You know what the best outcome could be. And you can use these worry-free mantras as you move forward. So whenever you need to, pick them up, reread them. This isn't a cure. It's not going to stop you from ever worrying, but it's a start towards building a confident writer mindset. Mindset work is something you're going to revisit again and again whenever these worries pop up. Know that you can go back to reframing these into your worry-free mantras and looking for evidence to the contrary. A strong and healthy writer mindset is so important to nurture along your writing journey. You might be wondering, can affirmations and mantras really help me build confidence? If that's what you're wondering about, I want you to look up Hebb's law, which essentially just means the more you repeat something to yourself, the more you and your brain begin to believe it. And because that becomes something that is part of your identity, you start acting in that way. Instead of worrying that your prose aren't perfect, you start seeking out routines and resources that will help you develop prose that are just stronger. The more that you practice with an eye for developing stronger prose, the better you will get. So if you'd like, please share one of your reframed worries in the comments. Like others, let's show support for each other. And if it's comparing yourself to other writers that is causing you to worry, I want you to look at this video next. It'll give you some more mindset shifts to incorporate, completely geared towards when comparison is getting us down. Take care and happy writing.